I believe that this group, all of us who are here, believe in, at least I'm starting with that assumption, we believe in that ICT has a potential to make difference to teaching and learning practices. I think, so that's the assumption in which I am starting. I just want to really go through some of these terminologies or whatever. If anything, you make it more voluntarily or you engage on your own. It's as fun as possible. If you really look at, you go and ask a child if you want to pick up a book and read, or you want to go out and have a play, cricket or football or whatever the game they like, I'm sure many of the children will prefer the second option. How we can enable that kind of voluntary engagement of the children in a learning process? I strongly feel that the technology has a potential to make that learning as equivalent, as good, as fun as play. Somewhere, if you really look at the assessment, I just want to quickly go through one small link giving the statistics of Rwanda children. If you say that primary 5 to primary 6, the average number of children across 2,370 schools, see the drop in average. I could relate one of the factors is that in class 6 there is a public examination. So one is the fear of failure itself forcing the children to drop out. How you can enable these children to have a fun in the assessment process? I see a second large potential through this technology. And third, it doesn't, the content and technology doesn't differentiate you are from urban, rural, different countries or continent. It treats you at par. So therefore, addressing the high quality intervention across in a skill, which is very much possible through the technology. And also there are other, you can just see that bottom line. So many of the children who come to this government schools, many of them are first generation learners. There is no parental pressure from the family that the children has to go to school. Though the awareness is really coming up, how you can actually use this technology as a tool to attract these children to the school, having come to school, how you can retain them, and third, how you can provide a good, engaging, quality content to enhance their quality of learning. I think somewhere, the play, fun, equity, attract, retain, quality enhancement, it all goes hand in hand, and definitely I see a possibility through good quality digital learning material through this ICT-based intervention. Having said that, let's move to some of the confusions which is happening since the ICT education kind of term introduced to the education sector. Even for the past one and a half days we have been talking about different terminologies. So the many educationists, Ministry of Education gets confused with, is it IT education or ICT based or IT based education? Are we going to deliver content for teachers to demonstrate or deliver in the classroom, or we are going to provide direct content for the children to use as a self-learning material or reinforcement material? Is it going to be a video based or animated based? I'm not saying either or, by the way. It's nothing either or. I just wanted to differentiate with a few colors, therefore, so the different facets covered in a slide. So is it going to be a complete instructional module based like the e-textbook or the story based, module based? Again, you have to look at the bottom line. We need to really look at the pedagogical approach, different age group, and also the type of infrastructure required to support different pedagogical approach. The urban, rural settings, fantasy, reality, you want to deliver something very unit specific, lesson specific, class map, or you want to follow through a highly broader competency based or concept based approach. All the topics versus specific topics. Do you have enough content to really deliver with that infrastructure, all the topics, or you can only identify something very unique which probably you can find it, call it as hard to teach or learn topics. curricular, co-curricular, where the National Curriculum Development Center can centrally create and deliver, or enable the teacher to deliver at the locally created content. So now you can go on with that list. So what I'm saying is that when you have all these confusions around, bring relevant people, have an intense democratic discussion and arrive at larger, that's what the leadership and planning level. We have to get on to, yes, what we need to really look at for our country specific, agree on some of the attributes. I'm not just taking through a typical case study. I'm just going to take you through a typical primary school or lower primary school content. Some of the attributes, what is decided is that it has to be a child-centric. The children will directly use this content for learning certain concepts. That's the assumption. It has to be highly interactive, and you should take care of slow learner, average and bright children. It has to be completely self-paced. Children like stories. Take this content concept through a storyline and embed with certain games, where games utilized for learning as well as assessment, and somewhere bring in some riddle-based fun, enable complete child-friendly interactive design, bring in the non-threatening environment, consistently encourage a child, don't put off, even if the child is making error, and just continue to encourage that child to move on. So some of them, like it has to be highly contextualized for your child. So I was just listening to you. If you bring content from outside, somewhere you are disconnecting the reality. So how close you can make the content to your child, that's very important. Use that simple, crisp, local language. Availability of multiple. So I am assuming that here, the content will be used by a group of children together. I am not really going to one-on-one learning devices right now. So that's the assumption I am making with these attributes. Group of primary school children, maybe 3 or 4, will sit together and interact with this content. Therefore, how you can enable these children to have multiple player options in a game built in, which is related to the concept or content you are learning. And build multiple level of activity difficult levels, which again relate to some of the different learning styles, and also provide with a lot of learning material for your teacher. If you really look at the teacher's capacity in your typical interior schools, many schools have the teachers, most of them, they feel that they've been punished by posting in those schools. So some of the good teachers prefer to be at close to city. So therefore, how you can enable these teachers to have a lot of information on digital, some of the concept can be taught without using digital material in a regular non-technology based environment. They can utilize those techniques. Then additionally, I think that's very, very important. How the child can relate what she or he learned in a classroom in their day-to-day applications. Try to relate these concepts in their day-to-day applications. So that's very important. So this is some of these attributes what is decided. So I'm now going to ask any one of you, you can nominate. One of you should go through this content for about, let's go through for about 15 minutes. What I described right now, all these factors reasonably considered. I'm not saying that it's 100%. So one of you can just come in and operate this content. I just want you to experience what I'm talking about.